So, welcome again to my YouTube channel, Yellow House Wellness, where I am sharing with you my breathwork experience as part of my Rebirthing Breathwork Mastery practitioner training. And so we have to go through 36 breathwork sessions as part of our training. We have to do a theory component, and then we get to sit in and observe breathwork sessions before we get to graduate. So this is obviously the first component, which is my session number 17, my breathwork, my 17th 90-minute breathwork session out of 36 that I have to complete. So, um, my session 16, I was able to move through and release being in that nothing's happening, being present with the stillness um and with the presence and just releasing that idea that nothing's happening. Um, because nothing is never happening. Something is always happening. So interestingly, after that breathwork session, things started to move again. Things started to feel like they were moving again. But yeah, so what I've got written here, so this is like the last breathwork session for May, and we are currently in June 2025. So we had the surveyors come out and reestablish the boundaries on our block, so we could move ahead with plans and permits for our build. Also, we had a win. Um, Not only were they supposed to come out later, they came out earlier, but we also got a win for them being a little bit cheaper than expected, which is always a win. Um, in terms of receiving this particular week, I had another win. I won Roblox from a competition I didn't realize that I entered with everyday rewards with Woolworths. And it's still awesome to win and it's still awesome to receive, even though I gave away the Robux to a friend of one of my kids. At this point in time, I also decided that I was going to sign up to the practitioner program for shadow work. And I made this decision with my body. It was a full body yes, this is the next step for me. And I'd made this full commitment. We also had the projection practice in the Shakti pad. And I've written here, I came to the realization that this is the direction that I want to go. Combining massage, facials, coaching, breath work to transform belief systems and change lives. We also have the money for the build in our account. So settlement has happened and we have that money in our hands. Yay. Things are all falling into place, coming back to this trust in the universe and trust that everything is always working out for me. One of the Shaktipad calls with the Reconnected, Emma from the Reconnected mentioned the unknown is a complete blessing. And this really stuck with me. And I did a breathe with this intention. I did a mini self breathe with this intention. And I said, I feel like it's still calling me. And I also wrote here, my previous intention was to feel expansion in the stillness and the presence. Um, I'd also noticed some physical discomfort in my left hip and some warming sensations in my left calf. So, coming from the idea of the unknown as a complete blessing, talking through the intention with the facilitator, we kind of, what will that give you? Well, what will that give you? That will give me more openness to opportunity, no hesitation, being able to just jump towards goals instead of being caught in the fear of the unknown, being able to take those opportunities. And so, what will that give me? And that will give me exploration of openness, exploration of willingness, honesty with myself, and talking about these intentions, talking of like snowballing and what Eleanor says, jamming out the intention. Um, I've written here, I felt some tingling in my feet and in my legs and in my lower abdomen and stomach. The feeling is there, but it feels withdrawn, like waiting to see if it's safe before fully expressing. Like I'm peeking through an open door to see if it's safe to open. That was the feeling that I got in my body. That was like the sensations that I got in my body. Um, and my intention was I intend to experience willingness to the unknown being a complete blessing. And this is the first breathe in quite a few breaths that I didn't sleep. So I was really excited with myself for that reason. Um, I've written here, I gave myself permission to sleep. I had fully expected that that was probably what was going to happen, and I gave myself permission to sleep because I got annoyed with myself the previous times for sleeping, and I gave myself permission, but it didn't happen. Um, I've written here too, my mind told me fear. My shoulders were closed off. I was closed off from my body language. And my mind told me fear. I sat with I sat with how I felt, fear in my body. I felt my eyes started to water. I felt frozen. I, f- I felt I needed to be really conscious with my breath because when I wasn't breathing. I felt sharpness in my chest and also a heaviness in my chest and throat. I felt very frozen. These feelings passed. I allowed them to be there, and these feelings passed. And I felt like my breath came back with ease. My body lightened. I started to feel free. Although a sense in the pit of my stomach, a hesitation or resistance that everything is safe, that feeling something, that feeling that something can still go wrong. Um, my body settled and the deep pit in my stomach shifted. I was made aware of the position of my arms and my shoulders, and I needed to move them to stretch them out over the sides of the bed. And I was hanging them over the sides of the bed, and the weight from my own arms felt so good. It felt like I was really stretching my arms out. Um, so simultaneously feeling, being aware of my uterus, my fallopian tubes, and my bladder. I was met with myself from 15 years ago, so from before I had kids. Um, Before children, before pregnancy, she offered me a sense of free spirit, a part of me that I forgot, I lost after the birth of my children. More sensations in my shoulders and arms and hands, also my hips, listening to the music and my body, moving my hips and my arms around how I felt called to, continuing until the end, wriggling my toes, rolling my ankles, making a bridge pose and stretching out my hamstrings. My shoulders and arms, it was like a physical release, like an awakening of my body again after shutting myself down to become a parent, not being my authentic self, not following or following the shoulds of motherhood and not following my authentic self. I felt very I felt very attuned to the music and the sounds that were coming from the Zoom room. And I really feel like this experience, this breathwork experience, like at the beginning of this, it was really how I related to fear. I was really like even talking about how like I was peeking through the door, checking to see if it was safe before I could open the door and walk through it. Um, this is really how I had gone about life. This was how I lived. I hid. I was a hider. I hid myself from the world. I wanted to be invisible. I didn't want to be noticed. I didn't want to be seen because I was fearful. I was fearful of I was fearful of the unknown. I was fearful of what would happen if um and I just created more fear. I expanded on that fear. And so this was a real release of fear for me. Um, Releasing that felt sense in my body and creating an openness and an awakening of what used to be there before the responsibilities of being a parent, before the responsibilities of having to take care of the needs of others, and just coming back to that place where I felt inspired to do what I wanted when I wanted. So that was my breathe for the end of May. What was that? 17, breathe 17. And I'm pretty much finished this first book. Um, my my next breathe is very much a bit of a heated one. Um, Very much a bit of a heated one. I will share that one with you very soon. So goodbye for now, and I'll see you very soon for session 18.